Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Well, hello and welcome to Chris's Hidden Metal Show, episode 2, even though technically this was a series about 10 years ago. On this particular feed, the Two Strangers One podcast feed, I still have a couple months left on the hosting service, so I might as well use it to put up these episodes of Chris's Hidden Metal Show, but featuring my own band, the Industrious Bastards, or just Industrious Bastards. I can't believe when I put out the first album, if you want to call, I mean, of course it was an album, put it out on my birthday, and everybody, here was my plan, on your birthday on like Facebook, everybody reaches out to you to say happy birthday. Even people you haven't spoken, there are people who you don't talk to until your birthday, and then they reach out and say happy birthday. And that's fine. I do that to a bunch of people, so I'm not guilty of that. I mean, I am guilty. I'm not innocent here. And so I said, okay, for my birthday, I am going to reach out to everybody who reaches out to me to say happy birthday. I'm going to ask them to go check out my album. Got a bunch of views, and I was really happy with that. I know, obviously, people reaching out are friends and family. My friends and family aren't the exact biggest heavy metal fans. Certainly not family. Obviously, friends would, but my friends have varied taste in music, and I like my music. I can't expect the people that know me to like the same stuff that I put out. I like to get feedback from people, but I can't expect feedback because, that'd be like someone asking me to watch something of theirs that I'm not a fan of and then get feedback. So, it is what it is. So we are on the second album. Came out Halloween of 2022. I put the first one out on my birthday of 2022. And then I put this one out Halloween. And that's crazy when you think, because I had started making the first album around December, and then it took me 6 months, and then June to July, July to August, September, October. 5 months later, so it takes about 5 months to put out an album of those first two albums where I was working with DJ. So with the first album being called Constructive Destruction, I said constructed destruction. Constructed destruction. We said, I thought to myself, okay, let's flip that with the second album since I'm working with DJ. And I thought these were just going to be two albums that I wasn't really planning on making a third album. So I said, okay, let's flip it and let's call it Destructive Construction. I kind of like the way that plays too. The same way the first album was called Constructed Destruction. This one is Destructive Construction. Probably from a marketing view, especially with a band called Industrious Bastards, it's already a mouthful. And then you got to call the album Destructive Construction. I have to admit that if this was a real band, quote unquote real band, I'd probably have artists in development, A&R, artists in recording, whatever they call those people. They'd probably say, "That's a horrible idea. Change the fucking name of the band. Change the name of the album. It really sucks." Luckily for this second album, you won't have a whole preamble about the history of how I met DJ and how the album came to. So let's jump right into the very first track. Now, the very first track is called Belligerent Me. I think the name kind of came from Metallica did a song called Old Poor Twisted Me. And I think that's where I got that. And Belligerent Me. And, sometimes when you think of a name for a song or something like that, you think of a name of a band or a song or a book or something like that. You go and you search online and you want to see if anybody else has that name. And Belligerent Me, there is like a girl boss hip hop song by the same name, Belligerent Me. Obviously, I'm not the demographic. I checked it out. It's all right. So Belligerent Me is based on a true story of a friend of mine who took me to a bar. Now, mind you, I know this bar. I've been to this bar several times. But I stopped going to that bar because I was And actually, the funny thing is, it's not the crowd that I hate, even though in this song, I'm very much a misanthropic person. I hate humanity in general. It was basically, there was my favorite bar and then his favorite bar. And he liked the bar because, quite frankly, he got adept to picking up girls from that bar. So that's why he always wanted to keep going there. I want to go to a bar. My place was a place where everybody knows your name. And actually it was, because my local bar at that time was 2 blocks from my house. I can go there. I know everyone who worked there. I knew what nights to avoid. The bar he wanted to go to was always busy. And back in the day, I lived across the street from there, and I went to that bar, and the crowd was always very eclectic, very artsy crowd. It's an artsy part of town, but the staff acts like they're doing you a favor by serving you drinks. They're ignoring you. And I came from New York City. So up in Rochester, there's a different vibe up here. And I was always the person, I learned this from New York City, where you kind of hold money in your hand when you're trying to get the bartender's attention, because it's a nice way of saying, hook me up and this money's yours. Here's your tip. I got people looking at me like I got 10 heads when I used to do that up here. So I don't do that anymore. So just that particular night. And like, once again, it's a nice bar, nice people. The staff could use a fucking a whack upside the head. And just me hating going out in groups in general, being around people. I hate being around people. So this song is about that feeling, going to a place that you hate. You don't want to be there. You hate everybody there. Me indulging my friend by going there. So here we go, Industrious Bastards with Belligerent Me.
Watch your tone when talking to me. I'll push your wing back antagonistically. your teeth out belligerently.
And that was Belligerent Me by Industrious Bastards. Another video made in Nightmare Puppeteer. You know, the video pretty much, and the song itself kind of speaks for itself. I've been called misanthropic. I like that word. And actually, I swear to God, on the same week, one person called me altruistic and the other person called me misanthropic. So I don't know what to say. I guess duality is a thing of mine, being a Gemini. So with that, we are going to move on to the next song. The next song is called Carried Away. It kind of digs, once again, as another step in the ladder of my class war, my trend for songs about class war, songs about the theme. I always have underrunning themes in the songs. Carried Away is basically just a song about people have so much fucking money that, you know, there seems to be a rat race of trying to keep up with all the people and having all the nice things and having all the trappings of Hollywood. Afterwards, I swear this wasn't a thing. It kind of reminds me of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous by Good Charlotte. And I'm not a big Good Charlotte fan, but I think that was somewhere in the back of my head. Even though I don't think it sounds like the song. It's just, I think that's sort of where my head was at when I wrote this song. And obviously, you know, all the imagery and stuff like that goes back to, like in the last album with the song Greed, kind of goes to the MTV Cribs era, you know, early 2000s, and people were showing off their stuff and their cars and big houses and stuff they just wasted money on. That's where I was when I wrote this song. So this is Industrious Bastards with Carried Away.
I just don't know what to do, trying to keep up with you. Haircut, fresh kicks, gold watch, huge crib, sunglasses, movie scripts, pimp ride, hot chicks.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
I just don't know what to do, trying to keep up with you. Do you know what your status is? Keeping up with the Joneses. Vacations, swimming pools, flat screens, looking cool, designer clothes, backstage, after parties, getting laid. I just don't know what to do, trying to keep up with you. Do you know what your status is? Keeping up with the Joneses.
Can I borrow $50 until next payday?
Getting carried away, keeping up with the Joneses. Getting carried away, keeping up with the Joneses.
Cash rules everything around you.
Garden parties, photo shoots, fine art, leather boots, cocktails, jet set, top shelf, high stakes bets.
Buy low, sell high.
You just keep spending, you just keep spending, you just keep spending. Get your money's worth, keep spending, you just keep spending, you just keep spending. You get your money's worth. I just don't know what to do, trying to keep up with you. Do you know what your status is? Keeping up with the Joneses. Huge debt, crash car, controversy, phone star, tell all, mirror crack, rehab, come back.
Everybody loves a good comeback.
keep up with you. You just keep spending.
And that was Carried Away by Industrious Bastards. Watching the video, once again, early AI video, but I love the way it came out. It's so stylized, and the way I since I made the video and it was sort of at a slower frame rate, it kind of comes off like animation, like cheesy animation, or not cheesy, but sort of an abstract animation, which certainly puts me like back to the 90s when music videos were very experimental and stuff like that, or people would like commission artists. And not that I have that kind of budget, and I know certainly the AI debate, people are against it when it comes to creative stuff, but it's not like I have the money to hire an artist to do this stuff. It makes me an interesting looking video. It kind of puts things out there that you weren't planning on putting out there. I'll always be a proponent of AI technology. The same way, look, we have Photoshop, and people could make fake images on that also. And we have Adobe Premiere, and we have other video editing programs. You could make anybody look like they're doing anything. You know, it's not exactly out of the realm of possibility that we use AI as the next step in creativity. And I love that line, all I wanted was a Pepsi. And it's weird because last album was, was inspired by Suicidal Tendencies. And here I am just straight up stealing their line. But it's not stealing, it's an homage to Suicidal Tendencies. So now we're going to move on to the next song. The next song is called The Poison. The Poison's based on a real life situation. Anybody who knows my life and knows that, you know, I've dealt with, not me personally when it comes to using drugs, but I've been in love with people who've used drugs. This isn't about that particular person, but drug addicts like to spend time with each other. Drug addicts are oddly sociable because, I don't know, people don't want to get high alone. I don't know. Not the person in my past, but another person that they were with. We had picked them up after a particularly nasty drug bender, or picked them up from somewhere, whatever. And this was very early in the morning. Like sunrise, sort of. They had said, "Oh, I want to wake up." Me not being a person in drug culture, I said, "What the fuck is a wake up?" And I guess it was apparently like, it's the drugs you take the first thing when you wake up because, you know, it gets you up and ready to go do more drugs for the day. So this song is sort of pretty much based on that. Of course, the song is coming from like my point of view. Like if I'm a drug addict, once again, I've never touched the hard stuff. So, you know, I don't know if I'm really qualified to talk about stuff like this, but it's based on a real story. It's based on something I really experienced. So I call this one The Poison.
That's a problem for tomorrow. Have to beg and borrow. drama. I need a distraction from all of this drama. Inhale and snort and chop and go. Inject and swallow and puff and shoot up. Inhale and snort and chop and go. Inject and swallow and puff and shoot up. Inhale the poison. It kills the trauma. I need a distraction from all of this drama. Inhale and snort and chop and go. Inject and swallow and puff and shoot up. Inhale and snort and chop and go. Inject and swallow and puff and shoot up. I can't quit at any time that I want.
And that was The Poison by Industrious Bastards. Once again, I have to keep commenting on the videos, just with the AI art making very abstract things, but you can kind of see the outlines of drugs and alcohol and arms, not necessarily arms that are getting needles, but you know, that was sort of implied in the video and stuff like that. So powerful video. I know my vocals on that song aren't that great. I think someone commented on, I want to say TikTok, said I sounded like Cleveland Brown, but it is what it is. And once again, it was an early recording. Maybe one day I'll get a chance to do it again, do it a little more justice. So we're going to move on to the next song. The next song is called Practice What You Preach. And I literally wrote this song the day that Roe v. Wade was overturned. Of course, me being a diehard anti-Trump guy, and this sort of being a direct result of him being put in, putting the Supreme Court justices that overturned it. I was, and not that I'm like this big pro-choice person, but, you know, just in general, I don't want to get into politics, but I'm just saying is people should have a right to choose. If you don't want to have an abortion, don't get one. It's that simple. Shouldn't be against the law. So that being said, in the true light of other heavy metal songs that are both anti-religion and anti-government, let's do a song that talks about the separation of church and state. So this is Industrious Bastards with Practice What You Preach.
Christian only in name. They should learn to fucking be ashamed. Classic overreach. Cause they never practice what they preach. They never care. Abandon all the fruit that they bear. Righteous hypocrites. At least try to act like you give a shit. Bibles on their shelves. You lie so much you believe yourself. It's your God-given right to intrude in other people's lives. Christian only in name. They should learn to fucking be ashamed. Classic overreach. Cause they never practice what they preach. Warriors of faith. If he was here, then you would be a disgrace. You say you pray for me as you quietly damn the air that I breathe. Our Father, who art in heaven, and to the republic for which it stands, love thy neighbor, unless they are gay, a minority, or an unbaptized heathen.
Christian only in name. They should learn to fucking be ashamed. Classic overreach. Cause they never practice what they preach. They never care. Abandoned all the fruit that they bear. Righteous hypocrites. At least try to act like you give a shit. Bibles on their shelves. You lie so much you believe yourself. It's your God-given right to intrude in other people's lives.
And that was Practice What You Preach from Industrious Bastards. Now, that is, I forgot to mention earlier, that is probably, it's certainly of the first 4 albums, the only song that's just acoustic, I guess. I don't know if you would call that, it's not unplugged, or is it unplugged? I don't know. But it's the only song that just has guitar and vocals, no drums, nothing else, which was a nice change of pace, I think. You know, it's so weird for so many other songs have all types of industrial elements and stuff like that. And this is just a guitar and a guy. Of course, with some echo effects thrown on top. And the line, the Our Father who art in heaven and to the republic for which it stands, totally stolen from George Carlin. I believe it was in a bit about a prayer about a prayer for separation of church and state or something to that effect. So, you know, good artists borrow, great artists steal. And I just flat out stole that from George Carlin. Please don't sue me, Kelly Carlin. I don't think she cares. All right, so let's move on to the next track. This one, another one of my favorites. It's sort of the same way I really loved Hear Them Call from the first album, Hear Them Call. This is its spiritual successor. And you'll notice sometimes some of the songs will have a spiritual successor. Even though it has nothing to do with the actual song, this is At the UFO Racetrack. I think the best way I could describe this song is if I made a Rob Zombie song, even though it doesn't sound anything like Rob Zombie. I was trying to think of, I wanted to write a song that was sort of somewhat inspired by the cartoon Megas XLR. And I know it's not exactly the most popular cartoon in the world, but it's a cartoon that I love. I've spoken a million times about on my podcast. I'm friends with the creators of the show and writers and you know, the guy who ran the company. You know, I'm internet friends with them, and they're a bunch of awesome dudes. I was kind of trying to think of a way to write a song related to the show, and then somehow that transformed into what would be the coolest place in the universe? What would be the one place that sort of like the cantina scene from the first Star Wars movie, where the most coolest, weirdest characters would come and meet, and it would be a bunch of people from different planets, different universes, different galaxies, whatever you want to call it. And it's obviously for all of them to get to this one place, they would need to be in UFOs. Well, what else do UFOs do when they gather but have a racetrack, race each other? Sort of like a drag race, like if it was a diner for a bunch of people who really like their UFOs. And then the actual, like, in my mind, the actual center of the place, the middle, is sort of like this weird, super outrageous party with crazy creatures from every dimension in all corners of the universe. So it's sort of like a rave meets Super Bowl Sunday meets, I don't know, a casino meets and meets a racetrack. I guess NASCAR Grand Prix. I'm not into any of that stuff, but I'm assuming it's a pretty big party when they have like a big event. So this would be where all the crazy creatures are from around the universe come together and race their UFOs. So this is Industrious Bastards at the UFO racetrack.
Virtual strippers, rock and roll dragons, Trump bounty hunters, circle their wagons, cannibal vampires, start a knife fight. Atomic demons spread their wings and take flight. Cyborgs and monsters are on the attack. Start a luchador mosh pit at the UFO racetrack. Gothic monsters, astral Vikings, unhinged sex robots are riding the lightning. Hot rod witches, outer space truckers, alien escorts, bad motherfuckers. Here is always a trippy scene, 'cause every day is Halloween. Cyborgs and monsters are on the attack. Start a luchador mosh pit at the UFO racetrack. Cyborgs and monsters are on the attack. Start a luchador mosh pit at the UFO racetrack. Intergalactic courts are setting things on fire. Archery octopus, a cyclops for hire. Ringleader monsters with infamous zombies. Kamikaze ninjas are having a party. Better strap yourself in. You might get a nosebleed. It's dangerous to rock down when you're moving at warp speed. Cyborgs and monsters are on the attack. Start a luchador mosh pit at the UFO racetrack. Live long and prosper.
And that was At the UFO Racetrack by Industrious Bastards. Like anything changes. I really like the 50s sci-fi sounds, mostly because I had those generated. Like that's not like I didn't just go online and find a special effect of 50s sci-fi sounds, but I found a weird plugin for my my DAW, my digital audio workstation, that made those weird noises. So I kind of liked that, even though I was going for that theme of sci-fi, crazy crossover monster universe, to find the old 50s sound of beeping, booping spaceship sound effects. And I think it goes great with the song. And, you know, we don't get enough old school sci-fi love and heavy metal anymore. I think the last band that, at least that I'm familiar with, was probably Power Man 5000, which is another band I love, influence. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next song. The next song is called Your Rockstar. Now, I guess another trending theme in my music is being a rock star, wanting to be a rock star, living the rock star life. I don't know if this is the first time I'm mentioning that in the song. In this, your rock star is the devil on your shoulder. You know, in the old cartoons, when you see a devil and angel on your shoulder and the one that wants you to do bad things, well, that devil on your shoulder, the temptation, is a rock star. It's a rock star and a demon have a lot in common. They live very debaucherously and, you know, will want to bring other people into living deliciously. I don't know where this concept came from. It's not based off anything. It's not from anywhere. It's not inspired by anything. It's just I really like the idea of the devil on your shoulder, the person that's making you do bad things, is a rock star, like an 80s hair metal rock star. Or, I mean, I guess you could have a modern day rock star also, but, you know, back in the heyday when, like, you know, people are snorting lines of ants off the, you know, the pool of a Las Vegas hotel or something like that. And it's sort of, you know, just the person that's bringing you into temptation. So here we are with Your Rock Star.
I'm your dirty secret, the one that you'll never tell. I'm the crime against nature, the one that puts you through hell. I'm that soft, cruel voice in the back of your head. I'm the one that reminds you that you'd rather be dead. Wanna take your motivation, you be the right to my wrong. Wanna be your abomination, I wanna fuck till dawn. I wanna be your black sheep, I wanna be your risk scars. I wanna be your broken dreams, I wanna be your rock star. Fucking rock star. I may leave you sore, but you'll be craving more. Take your salvation, be your fall from grace, the humiliation when you can't show your face. I wanna be the one that passes out in the back of the bar, the one that doesn't pay his tab. I wanna be your rock star. Fuck the rock star. I wanna be your disease, the one that leaves you corrupt. Just push down the pain and try not to interrupt. I wanna be your drum and bass, I wanna be your lead guitar. I wanna be the one that sings your name. I wanna be your rock star. Kill the rock star. Wanna take your motivation, you'll be the right to my wrong. Wanna be your abomination, I wanna fuck till dawn. I wanna be your black sheep, I wanna be your risk scars. I wanna be your broken dreams, I wanna be a rock star. Fucking rock star. Take your salvation, be your fall from grace, be humiliation when you can show your face. Be the one that passes out in the back of the bar. Be the one that doesn't pay tab. I wanna be a rock star. Fuck the rock star. I wanna be your team, the one that leaves you corrupt. Just push down the pain and try not to erupt. I wanna be drum and bass, I wanna be lead guitar. Wanna be the one to sing your name. I wanna be a rock star.
And that was Your Rock Star by Industrious Bastards. I don't have much to say about that. The video is very abstract. I don't think it gave me what I wanted when I was trying to get it, the AI art generator video maker, to do what I wanted it to do. So I just kind of threw everything at the wall. And I think the version that I uploaded to YouTube was a different version than the one I'm used to, because it doesn't sound good. So hopefully I'll find the right version to upload to this Hidden Metal show, because the one that's on YouTube that's accredited as remastered, I think I must have uploaded the wrong fucking track, because it doesn't sound good. All right, so let's move on to the next song. Bullshit. Once again, another song with a curse in the title. For like the first album, had a song called Don't Fuck With Us. This song is the spiritual successor to Devil's Advocate. I don't know why, it just feels like it is. It's sort of a bluesy song, and it's basically, a guy somewhat loosely inspired by the movie Falling Down, where the guy just has just had it. He's had enough, and it's time for him to snap. So Bullshit kind of goes down that alleyway, much like the Devil's Advocate video. It uses elements from my cartoon. So I don't know. Here we go. Enjoy. This is Industrious Bastards with Bullshit.
I left my job today, 'cause I can't see through their bullshit. Said I have bills to pay, but I'd rather just banquet. Curse the boss out to his face. Said I'll be on the unemployment line. It's not like I can't be replaced. You're the one that's stuck here, I'll be fine. Broke up with my girl today, 'cause I can't stand her bullshit. Never wanted to stay, but I'm not having it. This isn't hard to explain. I did the best that I can. You were always a pain. Go get yourself another man. today. I think you know why. Cursed out my neighbor today, 'cause I'm tired of his bullshit. Went on my merry way, satisfied with my hit. Said he'd call his lawyer. I said, do what you gotta do. Let me know when they get here, 'cause I'll go and slap them too. Punched a politician today, 'cause I can see through his bullshit. Everything he tries to say, I just don't like it one bit. He just makes himself rich. Every word is a lie. When the devil makes him his bitch, tell him that I said hi.
And that was Bullshit by Industrious Bastards. While I was listening to the track, I did do a little digging online, and the last Hidden Metal show was in 2013. So it's been over 10 years since the last episode. All right, so we are going to move on to the next song called Gentrification, an Ode to the Lower East Side. And I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm a very proud, I don't know, what do you call that? A citizen? I was born and raised in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I'm very proud of that. It's part of my personality. It's part of who I am. I adore that I grew up there. I adore that I lived there. I mean, first, through the 80s and the 90s or in the early 90s with the, it was a rough area back in the day. You had crack, you had AIDS, you had all types of dilapidated tenements and all this other stuff. And then, Rudy Giuliani cleaned up the streets. As much as I hate him being Trump's lawyer, he cleaned up the streets. After 9/11, a lot of people left, and it turned into a bad combination of the city getting more popular to live in, but also cleaning up the streets. And I think it also had to do with, and people leaving the city after 9/11, people not feeling safe, because you could clean up the streets from street crime, but there's always the threat of terrorism. And I also attribute it to the shows like Friends and Sex and the City, where kids kind of grew up on those shows and watched them, even though they were probably too young to watch them. And now that they were old enough to move out of mommy and daddy's house, they can move to New York City and live that dream. And of course, mommy and daddy who live in suburbia can support little Susie coming from West Bumblefuck, middle America, and give her enough money to pay $2,000 a month to pay rent. And even then, nowadays, $2,000 a month is almost like a joke. $2,000 will only get you like a studio apartment nowadays in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Growing up there was part of my personality. It's part of who I am. Very culturally diverse, being around the, Chinatown, a little Italy and the Hasidic Jews and Puerto Ricans. And, it was a beautiful place to grow up. And then watching it slowly die and slowly change. And, even if, I magically could live back down there today, tomorrow, it's not the city I grew up in. It's not, everything has changed. I don't recognize anything. None of my friends live there, and my only family that still lives down there have been there since the 70s. And so they're dug in. They're not going anywhere. This song also has a bit of a, I say, some of the songs are spiritual successors. This is a spiritual successor to the Landlord is Knocking song from the first album, where the whole reason the Lower East Side got gentrified is because landlords took a payday, ended up destroying a whole culture, a whole melting pot. And then basically a bunch of middle America came in, and now it's 7-Elevens and Trader Joe's and Whole Foods instead of the people from that area and mom and pop shops. So it's a long name, Gentrification, an Ode to the Lower East Side.
Celebrities, something they never heard. Oh snap, another gone. Didn't happen since you came around. Oh snap, another gone. Whole family driven from their home. They didn't want to push us out. They just wanted the life. You can call it gentrification, and it comes at a price. Unscrupulous landlords doing just as they please, handing out evictions with the greatest of ease. Oh snap, another gone. Didn't happen since you came around. Oh snap, another gone. Whole family driven from their home. Oh snap, another gone. Didn't happen since you came around. Oh snap, another gone. All pot shop driven to the ground. Cost of living is going up. The rent is too damn high. Suburban parents foot the bill, while families say goodbye, goodbye. When you leave your one-horse town to the greatest city ever built, don't call it gentrification, 'cause that comes with some guilt. Oh snap, another gone. Didn't happen since you came around. Oh snap, another gone. Whole family driven from their home. Oh snap, another gone. Didn't happen since you came around. Oh snap, another gone. Mall pop shop driven to the ground. Decades ago, a wasteland, a cesspool with some heart. It was like in the movies, centers of music and art. Then they came like a locust and slowly tore it apart. Oh snap, another gone. Didn't happen since you came around. Oh snap, another gone. A whole family driven from their home. Oh snap, gentrification, and nobody gives two fucks. Oh snap, another god. Didn't happen since you came around. Oh snap, another god. Oh snap, another god. But who cares? This ain't your town.
And that was Gentrification, an ode to the Lower East Side by Industrious Bastards. Now, watching the video, like I say, and now if I sound a little more energetic, I'm recording this the night after I recorded the first part, because I went into the wee hours of the night. But I was re-watching the video for this song, and it's straight up repurposed from YouTube. Well, not YouTube, but I mean, it's someone made a video about driving through. I think they were driving through certain neighborhoods of Manhattan. And I don't know if this was the early 80s or late 70s, but that's the Lower East Side I remember. That's the mom and pop shops, bodegas, worn down tenements. Where I grew up, you know, there was an old hospital that me and my friends used to like break into. It was an old beat up building, and it was very dangerous, and we were young and stupid, but that was our playground. The neighborhoods really weren't safe, and my parents didn't want me playing outside that much, but they did as I got older. You know, it was just it's the concrete jungle. That's the Manhattan that I remember. I drive back now and when I visit family, and it just doesn't look the same. So a few notes on that. I like in the song that I say, "Oh snap," because that's certainly something from my youth when we were kids. Like, we can't say "oh shit," so we would say "oh snap." And I think my generation of people who used to say "oh snap" is the kind of generation that we were the last people before the real gentrification of Manhattan. And now, mind you, I'm saying this when I'm pretty sure there's some Native Americans out there probably saying, "You want to talk about gentrification?" And so there's a little homage to The Offspring, the band The Offspring, in there. I'm pretty sure if you're a fan of the band, you caught that. The Lower East Side really was a cultural center, especially the East Village with, Andy Warhol and Basquiat and Clayton Peterson. And I was reading a interview with the director of Be Kind, Rewind, and what's that other one with Jim Carrey about the dreams, wiping the dreams out, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And he was being interviewed in the Lower East Side. He has an apartment there, and he says while he was doing the interview, something had caught his attention, and he was talking about the gentrification of the Lower East Side. And he's from France, and it's like the interviewer sort of pointed out that, hey, aren't you part of the problem of the gentrification of Lower East Side? If, you're a millionaire movie star director and you're living on the part of the Lower East Side we used to call the Ave, the avenues A, B, C, and D, Alphabet City. And then there is the line in the song, "The rent is too damn high," which is, I know there was a person running for some sort of office in Manhattan, in New York City, excuse me. And that was his whole platform behind his campaign was the rent was too damn high. So of course I just had to steal that. And it fits perfectly in the song, I feel. It certainly captures a moment of, or where I grew up, felt like it was worthless, and now I can't even afford, none of my friends can afford to live there anymore. So, it just shows a sign of the times, where most people grow up near their family. Like, you get a little older and you move out and you live close to where your parents lived and stuff like that. I can't even do that. All right, so let's move it on to the next one. Now, when I heard this track from DJ, when he put it out, I said, this sounds like a song about a fat guy. I don't know, it felt that way. I didn't say, hey, I'm going to write a song about me. I said, the way his guitars go, it sounds like a fat guy. It sounds like a fat guy walking down the street. That's the best way I could describe. That was the feeling I got when I heard his backing tracks. And so I said, let me write a track. Now, once again, I'm not super duper close friends with DJ, but he comes off as a really tall guy. He seems like he's got to be breaking 6 feet. So I think it's funny that I'm the fat guy, he's the tall guy. So I decided, let's write a song about a fat tall guy. The character in this story is a fat and tall guy. So he's a little bit of a mixture of both, but I think it's sort of it's being the freak. It's being the person that stands out when you walk in a room and everyone looks at you, and not for the for the reason. I kind of liked that. And you get that. I get that. I'm a big guy. I walk into a room and I feel sometimes people looking at me because I'm usually the fattest person in the room. So of course, when I made the song, I sort of tapped into that. But in this song, he's using it as empowerment. He's like, he doesn't want to be like a normal person, because who wants to be normal? And of course, some people have talent. Some people have, beauty. And this guy, his talent is being fat, being tall. And there's drawbacks to it, but it's also, let that be what makes you unique. Let that be what makes you shine. So, and of course, part of this song, it was influenced by the 90s band Soul Coughing. And I can't believe years and years and years, I did not know the song was actually called Super Bon Bon. That's the actual name of the song. I thought it was called something else, and then the guy just says Super Bon Bon in the song. And I remember there was a big fat wrestler back in the day who used to go by the name of, I forgot his name, but he was a big fat wrestler. So he used to come out to that music, to that particular song. So I felt that song kind of influenced in my head this song about a big fat guy coming through and a big fat tall guy and not being the normal person in the room, walking into the room and getting people's attention. But of course, for things that are out of your control. I mean, you can control being fat, but you can't control being tall. But, you walk in and all the eyes turn to you. So it's kind of a rap song, if you want to call it that. And I say rap because it's certainly not hip hop. I'm not a hip hop artist. It's a rap. It's 80s style, rhyme style. So here we go with Industrious Bastards and Hey Big Man.
Oh yeah. Just walking down the street, minding my own business. Someone sees me and they say, hey big man. Yeah, they know what's up. Make room, big man come through. One side, you may wanna move. I might just step on your toes. Wide load, I need a stronger chair with the smell of bacon in the air. That's the way the story grows. When I walk in the room, people start looking my way with steps that go by the boom. How much do you think he weighs? Before you open your mouth, you might want to think twice. Things may start to go south. I don't need your diet advice. Make room, big man coming through. One side, you way wanna move. I might just step on your toes. Big Mac, I need another plate. Only I can bring up my weight. That's the way the story grows. Make side. That's the way the story grows. I didn't know they made pants that size, but on the low, I'm rocking a double wide. Call me the gentle giant with the heart the size of a tree, but stay on my good side. You don't want beef with me. Make room, big man coming through. One side, you may wanna move. I might just step on your toes. Side split, what have you got to lose? Special store to buy all my shoes. That's the way the story grows. Never wanted to fit in, just like a normal person, where the problems begin and quality of life can worsen. Ladies love me and say that I'm the man in charge, and that's the price you pay when you live in large.
And that was Hey Big Man by Industrious Bastards, which I think also for a while, Hey Big Man was a slogan, I want to say for, was it Nike? Or I think it was some sort of sneaker company, but it was about, tall basketball players. And I know years ago in the 70s, oh my God, technically I am from the 70s, but in the 90s, I had a t-shirt that said, Hey Big Man. I used to go to the Big Man Shop, Buddy's Big Man Shop, there in, Mount Vernon, New York. And they used to sell clothes, clothes for fat guys. But it always had fat guy slogans on it. There was a company called Big Dog, and they used to sell, and it was all slogans that had to do with being fat or being a big man or whatever. But I think I had a shirt from there, a t-shirt that said, Hey Big Man, but it was a basketball shirt. I don't know if it was Nike or, I don't know. I don't think so, because I don't remember, but it was like, Hey Big Man. And so I think that I didn't mean for that to happen when I named the song, but I think somewhere in the back of my mind, that's where it came from. I mean, I don't want it to be a fat joke. It's not a 3-minute fat joke. Being a big man, I want it to be a bit empowering. I mean, it does it gets a little cheesy in the fat man kind of jokes and stuff like that. But I mean, I want it to be an empowering anthem. Stick out, be the person who doesn't fit in. And so now the last song, and once again, like the other album, this is the last official song of the album. The next two are bonus tracks. And this one is called Manager. And this was definitely me a couple of years ago where, I was going through some things and my life kind of reset a bit. And I was working in retail. And since I'm not like a high school teenager, for the lack of a better term, when I was working in retail, I was a manager, because I had half a fucking brain in my head and I could do stuff. I can work the computer and make a schedule for the employees and stuff like that. So I worked in a couple of different places as a manager, and I always find it funny, or like you walk into let's say you walk into a Best Buy and you see a guy and you can look at him and you can say, yeah, he's an adult with responsibilities now, but you can tell that he had a past. He used to grow his hair out all wild, or you could see kind of tribal tattoos sticking out from under his Best Buy employee's sleeve. Now I got tattoos on my forearms, so they stick out. So when I worked as a manager in all these stores, I always had to wear long sleeve shirts, even if it's 100 degrees in the summer, because, you have to show yourself as being a professional. This song kind of comes from the angle of, there are a bunch of people out there who were, metalheads and people who lived pretty wild as a teenager. And now they've grown up and they've had to they have to take responsibility and work a responsible life and go work in retail. In this story, based on my life. It's sort of him wanting to go back. He wants to go back to the not the innocence of his childhood, but he wants to go back to being a metalhead and being proud of being a metalhead and showing off his tattoos and stuff like that. He pines for the old days. And it's funny, recording these albums, I put out the first one on my 45th birthday. So, I'm way past what normal, you're not going to see a band that has a 45-year-old singer this is their first album. So it's sort of, and it's also me fulfilling my, my midlife crisis dreams of being a metal singer. So that's where this is coming from. It's, and it's also, hopefully it's a beacon of hope. Don't give up. You can still be a rock star if you want to. So this is Industrious Bastards with Manager. And that was Manager by Industrious Bastards. The funny thing, when you revisit these songs, at the end, I have the AI generated voices of the Karens asking to speak to the manager. Well, if you listen closely, one of them is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the other one is Hillary Clinton. So even though I hate Trump, I think Hillary Clinton has a very great Karen voice. So I think one or two of the other voices are popular women or well-known women, but I forget at this time. It was like 2 years ago when I made that song. The very end of that song, the scream, is from DJ. It's from another track that he made. I wanted to put it into a song, And I think a song about a guy frustrated with his life and where it's led him to be a manager and being kind of castrated by society when he wants to be a metalhead. I think that kind of yell fits in perfectly. So that's actually from a totally different song, but I think it goes chef's kiss right into where, you know, you can feel the frustration in his voice. We are at the end of the album proper, and now we're going to move on to the bonus tracks. Now this one is a cover, a vocal cover, I guess if you want to call it that. Now, if you remember from the first album, me and DJ had met doing songs on the Smule app where you do karaoke. What you can do is when you record your voice, it allows you to use certain vocal filters. And there's, you know, echo and reverb and delay and all that other good stuff. And you can speed it up and slow it down and sound like a chipmunk, sound like Darth Vader. But there is one filter, which is a auto-tune. It's definitely in the style of auto-tune. If you turn it up all the way, it gives you, obviously, that really exaggerated auto-tune effect, you know, like, what's her face, you know, you believe in love after love. So I think he did the first half of the song, and it's, you know, Can't Fight This Feeling. Let me see. I just need to get there for a second. Why am I drawing a blank on who sings it? REO Speedwagon. I should have known that off the top of my head. But yeah, so he did his first half on Smule of REO Speedwagon's Can't Fight This Feeling. And so I joined in, and once again, I used the settings and turned up the auto-tune way ridiculous. So this is just two guys being silly, ridiculous. We're not being assholes, but taking a popular song that, you know, was pretty big in the 80s and just giving it the auto-tune treatment that it deserves, I guess. So this is Industrious Bastards covering REO Speedwagon's Can't Fight This Feeling, the Super Pop remix.
I can't fight this feeling anymore, and yet I'm still afraid to let it flow.
What started out as friendship has grown stronger. I wish I had the strength to let it show.
I tell myself I can't hold out forever.
I say there's no reason for my fear.
'Cause I feel so secure when we're together.
Give my life direction. You make everything so clear.
And even as I wonder, I'm keeping you inside.
You're a candle in the window on a cold winter's night.
And I'm getting closer than I've ever thought I might. I can't fight this feeling anymore.
that was Industrious Bastards with their super pop vocal cover of REO Speedwagon's Can't Fight This Feeling. If that song doesn't make you laugh or giggle or just bring a smile to your face, then you have no soul in you. It was just me and him being very, very silly. I like when he messes up the lyrics. It's sort of like a karaoke from hell with enough auto-tune to give T-Pain a headache. Rewatching the video, and I forgot to mention this for the last song, both Manager and Can't Fight This Feeling, both are videos that I made in Blender, the 3D art modeling program that I made another video and the other album, my first album, the video for Don't Fuck With Us. And, they're pretty simple to be made, but then, you throwing them in the video and adding a little context to them makes it a little funny. The Can't Fight This Feeling is because the manager one is just abstract stuff that's sort of reacting to the music. And then the Can't Fight This Feeling is just a big open field of spinning glass hearts. I was able to render that on my computer. I'm actually surprised. I mean, it's pretty cute. It's pretty funny, and it goes in slow motion. So it kind of goes with that cheesy 80s aesthetic. And I think it's pretty funny. All right, so we are going to move to the last track. I'm probably not going to comment anything after this. So once again, this is, I want to call it a cover. It's not, it's kind of hard because I turned like 30-second freestyle into a 4-minute song. And the gentleman who created the freestyle, the person who officially wrote the lyrics for this song, is a gentleman by the name of Cutter the Killer Clown. And Cutter the Killer Clown he is obviously a juggalo. If you ever see his video, it's called Machines Within or Machine Within. Now, let's just say, and I'm not casting dispersions here, he strikes me as someone who's probably on the spectrum, and he wants to do a freestyle rap. And he records himself, and it looks like he's standing like in a parking lot of, a shopping plaza, like a mini mall or something. And he's recording, he's singing about the Matrix and the Terminator. So I think I know where he's going with this. He's kind of going in the vein of dystopian technological future where the machines are taking over the world, Machines Within. And coincidentally, I'll teach you something here. A writer by the name of Sophia Stewart, a black woman, wrote a screenplay called The Third Eye Matrix, of which that story that she wrote inspired both The Matrix and Terminator, which is pretty funny because, I don't think Cutter the Killer Clown knows that, but it kind of goes with the whole paranoia of machines destroying humanity. So once again, he wrote the lyrics in a freestyle. I put it over DJ's music, and since it's so aggressive, I think it goes with the music perfectly. He does say Happy Halloween, which is funny because when he's doing his freestyle, he says Happy Halloween, and I released the album on Halloween. If you ever get a chance, you can watch the original. The video for the song I made in Nightmare Puppeteer. I guess enjoy. And thank you for listening to this episode of Chris's Hidden Metal Show. This is Industrious Bastards with Machines Within. Excuse me, Machine Within.
Okay, here we go. All of our beats down for you. Trying to practice my song. This is my introduction for my song called Nature. Here we go. I'll sing it. Wow. Machine Within, Machine Within. I got a gun to Terminator gun. Machine Within, Machine Within. I got a gun to Terminator gun. Yeah, yeah. D16, D16, 100%. D16, I don't give it up. F the haters, F all the haters. Much love, no hate. Much love, no hate. Rap it on my song. Rap it on my song. Machine was there. Machine was there. Walking down the street. Walking down the street. Machine was there. Machine was there. Rap the hatchet on my street. Machine was there. Machine was there. Got me a gun, a Terminator gun, yeah. Machine was there. Machine was there. Got me a gun, my Terminator gun. Trying to make my rap. Trying to make my rap. Trying to practice my flow. Practice my flow. I'm on the street. I don't give it now. Machine was there. Machine was there. Got me a gun, I'm Terminator gun. Machine was there. Machine was there. T-16. T-16, yeah, yeah. What's real was fake. What's real was fake. Machine was there. Machine was there. Destruction I made, yeah. I'm walking down the street. Machine was there. Machine was there. Forever. Forever. What's wrong, no hate. Much love, no hate. Much love, hate.